I have an underrated stock that has recently gone up, but I believe it's about to go up a lot more due to a new partnership that they have. You guys like deep research, so in this video, I'm going to do a full breakdown and analysis breaking down the stock that I think is going to benefit a lot from AI and is about to explode. This is going to be important for you to understand. I'm going to be going over the fundamentals of the business as well as why I think that this stock is about to go to some new high levels. Let's not waste any time and let's talk about AMD. This stock has just made a huge partnership with none other than OpenAI, and this is going to be some really big news, and we're about to get stupid rich. On October 6th, AMD and OpenAI announced a multi-generation strategic agreement under which OpenAI will deploy 6 gigawatts of AMD GPUs starting with the Instinct MI450 series. The initial deployment is slated to begin in the second half of 2026, so we got some time, but this stock is already feeling the big increase, and basically buyers saying, hey, we want a piece of this action. You can even see right here, some of the analysts have upgraded their targets from 150 to 210. This guy was super behind, 205 to 275. Now that's what I'm talking about. I also think that that is probably the level that AMD can reach, and some other analysts readjusting their price targets, and AMD seeing a huge rise, huge run from 166 all the way to 236 per share. Now we have a pullback, and I think this is a very interesting time to get into this stock, specifically the OpenAI deal, but as well as the technical chart. I'm going to go over the charting right here, because usually what you see is after a stock has a huge rise and then it pulls back, you can already see it happening right now. It looks like it has kind of formed a foundation, and $215 per share seems to be a good support level for AMD right now. And I think that investors will see this stock for the future opportunities and start to calculate all those future good projections into today's price. Obviously, that has already happened, but I really think that this is going to continue to rise in terms of the stock going up to potentially 250, 275, and $300 per share. As part of the deal, AMD has issued warrants for up to 160 million shares to OpenAI, vesting in tranches tied to deployment and performance milestones. And the partnership is described not just really as a supply deal, but as a core strategic compute partnership aiming for co-optimization of hardware and software across future generations. So this deal between OpenAI and AMD is going to generate a lot of revenue because it is really a long-term deal. At least that's how I'm digesting it. Now, the truth of the matter is there is a little bit of a risk in terms that the deal is non-exclusive. So OpenAI can still use, and they do use, other chip vendors like NVIDIA. But for me, this is a huge opportunity for AMD to not only have a new partnership, but to also tell other companies, we're here, we're open for business, and we want a piece of the AI chip market share, right? So they want to share more of the pie with NVIDIA, and that's why I think that AMD is not going to be the same market cap as NVIDIA, but it doesn't have to be, right? Because look, if we go to the summary of AMD and we look at the market cap, which is like right around $350 billion, if this company can take more of the market pie, it can like just these little taste of the cherry pie, get a little slice there, then the stock can reach a $500 billion valuation. And over time in the future, it's not going to be a year, probably not going to be even 2 years, but the stock can reach a $1 trillion valuation for what I believe to be in a 3 or 5 year period, which is an insane return. If you're not excited about that, I'm sorry, you've been listening to too many gurus promising you some really quick results. Because if the market cap can go from $350 billion to basically a $1 trillion valuation, even if it takes 3 to 5 years, great, I'm in for it, right? AMD basically with this partnership didn't like win the game, but they're like Steph Curry now. They got Steph Curry on the team. They're shooting threes all day. Now they got Steph Curry on the team. And yeah, we got a whole big journey ahead of us, but I'm very excited because let me break down more of the reasons why, aside from the AI partnership, because that's a big deal. But real reason for me is the AI chip expansion and the market positioning that AMD has is really good. So AI GPUs like Instinct MI300X, which is AMD's flagship AI processor line, is already being adopted by hyperscalers like Microsoft, like Meta, Oracle. We saw Oracle guy become one of the richest in the whole world when Oracle went up. So this is really, these hyperscalers, they want to diversify. They don't want to only rely on NVIDIA. They want to have plan B. They want to have some diversification, especially because AMD chips are cheaper. So yeah, let's just be honest about that. It's cheaper, and that's actually going to be a net benefit to AMD. And in terms of their demand surge, it's actually very good. Under my research, the MI300X chips are sold throughout. They're sold out throughout 2025, with analysts projecting 12 to 14 billion in AI GPU revenue next year. So up from less than 2 billion last year. So this company is scaling. It really is seeing a lot of demand surge. And where I think their competitive edge is essentially, while NVIDIA focuses on ultra high-end GPUs, AMD targets the broader AI training plus inference market, positioning itself as kind of like the Intel of the AI era. So they really want to push volume, lower price, higher volume. That's a great strategy. That's a fantastic strategy. So that's totally good with me. I want to be invested in a company that is going to have a nice market share. And look at their partnerships. They have deep integrations with Microsoft Azure, and Meta's Llama models ensures long-term recurring demand. I don't think Microsoft's going anywhere. I don't think Meta's going anywhere. So when I do my fundamental analysis of, is this company going to stand the test of time? I think AMD, yes, no problem, especially because they also have more to the business, like data center dominance. So EPYC server CPUs, right? That's another part of AMD. AMD has steadily taken share from Intel. Okay, Intel's kind of not in a good place, although they have the government supporting them. I don't think that's the best company to be really invested in. So AMD has steadily taken share from Intel, reaching 32% server CPU market share, driven by power efficiency and performance, right? So in terms of AI integration, the newest EPYC, which is Turin, these chips pair seamlessly with Instinct GPUs, creating full-stack AI compute systems. So they have the whole AI integration, and it's going for very high margins. Like data center division now contributes to roughly 40% of total revenue and boasts 60% gross margin. So lots of revenue and lots of margin, which is exactly what you want to see from AMD, because that's how NVIDIA became, multi-trillion dollars worth of market cap. So that's what I want to see from AMD as well. Now, in terms of consumer plus PC rebound, that's also really important. I mean, my laptop here, I got the AMD right here. I got AMD right in front of me. But if they can dominate more of the PC market, that's going to be great. So AMD's Ryzen AI 300 series is being built into next-gen laptops from HP, Lenovo, and Dell, making AI computing accessible at the consumer level. So something that we've seen with Palantir, how it grew a lot in valuation, is it started with government, but then it went from government to B2B, right? Here, same thing. If AMD can be more of the consumer market, that's going to be really great news. Windows 12 AI upgrade cycle, that's going to be a lot of money as well. Like Microsoft's new OS, their operating system will accelerate hardware refresh demand across millions of PCs. And that's going to be a nice tailwind. It's going to be dragging AMD to more money in 2026. Also, gaming leadership is really cool. AMD continues to power PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and high-end gaming PCs, ensuring consistent consumer exposure. I think gaming is pretty cool. I actually watch some esports myself, so that's really cool. AMD is going to be making some money off of that. Now, they also have a very powerful software and ecosystem. So when I think about AMD, I really think that this is a company that can be a $500 billion market cap on the lower end within 1 to 2 years or so, and then in the high end. You already know what I think based on the title of the video. I think that this company can have a really, really strong return. It's going to depend a lot, of course, on their partnership with OpenAI. It's going to depend on the upgrade cycle and the PCs. But looking at their software and their ecosystem, AMD's open source alternative to CUDA is gaining adoption fast, especially in enterprise and academic settings looking to avoid NVIDIA lock-in. AI model support is also really, really good, now compatible with leading frameworks like PyTorch, TensorFlow, and Hugging Face Transformers, allowing seamless model deployment. So a lot of tech-centric focus for AMD. And I think that creates a really nice long-term moat, because once developers build on the ROCm, switching back to competitors becomes really costly and time-consuming, which is what you want to see in any software or any advantage. You want to see high switch cost. When there's high switch cost, that's why I was saying Palantir's golden, because once they get into the government and they have a contract, that contract gets renewed because there's a high switch cost. So yeah. Now, talking a little bit about valuations, specifically revenue and profit growth. Q2 2025 revenue was up 27% year over year to $14.3 billion. Data center revenue was up 80%. Guys, that's crazy. That's something to get pumped up for. If you're an investor in AMD, you should be getting pumped up because growth is important, and the fastest growing division is data centers. That's some good stuff. That's really good stuff. And gross profit margin 54% overall. That's really good as well, which was boosted by AI and server products. Net profit margin something a little bit different, and that is about 23% with further expansion expected as AI mix continues to increase. Now, I want to do a little comparison. I think it's important to put things into perspective because a lot of people, they don't understand PE ratios, right? They're like, oh, why did Tesla have 1,000 PE ratio? Why did Amazon have 1,000 PE ratio? It's okay for a company to have a really high PE ratio, like Palantir had 700, because if they're increasing earnings very quickly, then that PE ratio goes down. However, it's really not that high because trailing PE ratio is 38 and the forward one is 27. So currently we're at around 38, and then in the future it's going to be 27. So you can see how in just 1 year it's going to go down from 38 to 27. That's very good, right? Because a PE ratio that's under 20 is now like very, very cheap. So 27 in the future, good. Because if next year it can continue to grow, it would be like 20 and 15 and 10, and obviously that would be too cheap. So for the PE ratio not to go down that much, the price has to increase. Yeah, buddy. That's where we make money, right? Because obviously the earnings will be too good, and then the PE ratio goes down, and it's too good of a stock, so people are going to bid it up. And if you look at the comparison to NVIDIA trades at 45 times forward PE ratio. So here we have a nice discount. Like in my community today, I had a coaching call. I gave it my all. I'm super focused right now on giving really, really good coaching experience with a lot more structure. That's what I'm really focused on. And one of the students asked, well, why do you think AMD is cheaper than NVIDIA? Why do you say that on YouTube? Well, it's simply the valuation. The valuation is cheaper. So you're paying less price to get the same earnings for AMD versus NVIDIA. So you're paying $27 to make $1 worth of earnings, whereas with NVIDIA, you're paying $45 to make $1 worth of earnings. That's what a PE ratio is. So that's how you kind of interpret that. So if I were to break down the most important stuff and the fundamental valuation, I'm bullish on AMD. I think that this is going to be a stock that's going to follow in NVIDIA's footsteps. AI is accelerating, so rapid adoption of the MI300X GPUs and server CPUs creates a multi-year growth tailwind for AMD. So I'm pretty bullish on it for 2026, 2027. We got a whole lot of time here. They are very diversified, so they have AI chips and PCs, gaming consoles, and embedded solutions. Creates balanced revenue streams, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for stability in a business. I don't care about making all the money in the world in one day. I want to create and generate income that is safe and consistent for me. That's the goal for me. That's the goal for my community. I'm never chasing the hottest stuff. I'm basically after the consistency. So when I look at the valuation of AMD, it's cheaper than NVIDIA. It has a cheaper valuation, so it has a really good growth trajectory. I would prefer AMD over NVIDIA right now, given where NVIDIA is in terms of the price. And then last but not least, the leadership team. So CEO Lisa Su's track record of execution and innovation continues to drive investor confidence. So I can really see AMD being a strong company because of their leadership, because of the valuation, the fundamentals, and basically the AI trend. So if they can continue to execute, I can see the stock growing a lot in their market cap and their valuation. And yeah, I think that this is a interesting investment to have a portion position sizing, guys. I talk about that all the time, and I really go over position sizing a lot and risk management a lot in my community. So if you're interested in more research, more strategies, more foundation, more mastery in option trading, I would just say schedule a free call, learn about what we have to offer, and yeah, subscribe, and I'll do some more research, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.